I want to connect it up with some meetups that I did. This was private meetups that meetups that I did with Rupali and her husband Rohit. So I was at Thanksgiving with them, and I said, okay, I'm going to I want to tell you about this, and then let's say, okay, let's just record it. So these are the meetups. So I wanted, and this is the meetup that I'm going to do tomorrow. Okay, so this actually, the motivation for this is actually very, very deep. Okay, it's going to be about this. Okay, the motivation for this is very, very deep. What I have learned, the most important thing I have learned from doing the Gospel of John, Tao Te Ching, and Bhagavad Gita is that all these three works look at human beings, look at us, look at the world, and look at human relations in an integrated way. And the modern people, us, don't do that. We look at things separately. And that is the whole problem. Looking at human beings, looking at yourself, and looking at others, and looking at the world as one. Okay. So I'm going to start off. So I'm calling this the tetrahedral heart model. Okay. So imagine this is your heart. Okay. This is your heart. It's a three-dimensional thing, right? Really, it is three-dimensional. Okay. But most of us just look at it from just one angle or two angles, something like that. So they look at it like this, and they don't realize that actually for it to be pumping fully, it needs to be like this. It needs to be like this three-dimensional face thing. Now, going back to Paul's thesis, I was asking him, what he did was that he was studying actually these writings of these two nuns in 12th century and 13th century. And he was connecting it up with the biological work of Aristotle and Galen. So he's saying, look at a heart. Okay, if you look at a chicken egg, heart comes first. And the heart starts pumping, and then everything comes off the heart. Okay, so this is the heart of you, like this. Okay, and everything else kind of comes from it. So all your powers, so you can think of yourself as your heart. Okay, you have a head, you have a right hand, you have a left hand, you have feet. Okay, but all of it is coming from here and going to here. Okay, it's a back and forth flow coming from the core of you. So this is the core of you. And it has multiple aspects. And you can get enamored and focused. You can get good at certain things. You can start liking certain things. And you just do this one thing or two things. But the heart is a three-dimensional thing. And you need all of these things to be working for it to work. So this is the idea of the integration. Now I'm going to apply it to Jung's cognitive functions tomorrow. So I want to describe that very briefly, and then I will apply it to Gospel of John. Okay, so this one, so the way in which Jung puts it is that this is action. This is your ability to take action. Okay. Now, this is you acting. Okay. This is you. So green is action. These are the colors that Jung used, which I think are very good associations: green, earth, action. Then blue is thinking. Okay. This is about organizing things out in the world, inside your mind. Okay. Red is valuing. It is valuing things, having personal values, and valuing other people. Okay. And yellow is intuition, is having vision of what this all means. What is the truth behind all of it? Okay, so these are the four aspects. And what happens is that most people usually use two of them. They have a dominant one and they have like a second one. Maybe they have three. So they look at themselves like this, okay, not realizing that you need something else to complete you. Okay, so a lot of work, I have a much more detailed way of looking at it, which I'll talk about tomorrow. But basically, they are incomplete. Like they have the first function and the second function. These are their top functions that they end up using. Little bit later in life, they become, so initially they are like this. This is all they can do, act, for example. Then slowly they do this, that they can act and they have guided by some emotions. Then slowly, when they get a little bit older, a third function starts to develop, okay? And they don't really do much of this, okay? But when you look at great works, okay, now step back and look at people like Leonardo da Vinci. Look at people like Buckminster Fuller we are looking at. Look at Louis Sullivan. They have all of these things going. They have very deep intuitions. They have very clear, explicit, profound thoughts. They are full of love, full of motivation, and they can transform the world through their actions all together. That is human. This is not human. This is not human. This is not human. This is human. Okay, that's the basic idea. All right, and you can think of it as a heart, and it's three-dimensional thing. Like if it is missing, now where do other people come in? Look, you can't be equally strong in everything, but if you're weak in something, let's say you're weak in this part, you can work with people who are strong in this one, and you can interact with each other. That's what the social, we are surrounded by people, and we are all interacting, using all these things. And we need all these things, but we don't need to have all of them equally strong. Recognizing that you are weak at something and working with people who are strong at that is a way of making sure that your heart is still functioning, because you're getting the missing part from somewhere else. Okay, so this idea, I have, this is a very brief look at it, and I'm going to expand it far more tomorrow. Okay, now where does Gospel of John come in? Okay, so Gospel of John, this intuition is God the Father. Okay? This is the basic principle that we are all trying to get to, that is shaping everything. Okay, explication of it, this is the word. This is the word that captures the highest of intuition. Okay, and the word becomes flesh. That is Jesus on the ground acting. And what does he produce? He produces love in you. So Jesus is this. God is in him. Word is in him. Effective action in the world is in him, is showing you the actions, and he is full of love. That is what is the power of John. You are looking at something like washing feet. On the surface, it's just this. Then he says, no, it is this. I'm telling you, love one another. He's saying, wash your feet, wash the feet, love one another. Okay? And then he's going from that. Do you understand what it means? What is the meaning of it? What does it mean for God to wash your feet? What does it mean? It is asking you to say, what is man? It is the concept, it is the form. Jesus is the form of man. That is the word. And what do you get when you get that? You get to God. You get to the eternal principle. That is eternal life. So eternal life, this is eternal, this is life. Okay, this is the actual action. This is the principle behind it. You need this intermediary. You need your reason. You need your mind to grasp it so that you can have full devotion towards it. So this, and this is the heart of the message. This is the heart of Jesus, of saying, this actually shows you. And that is the power, I think, of Gospel of John.